know, why I didn't get a chance to vote on the budget or something. It's very important. I've been part of about 13 budgets already. So I know sometimes the disagreements because they weren't there in the room or they were late or whatever. You know, so if there's going to be a vote, guys, remember, we're all in the room to make a decision. Okay? And another thing, cuidado. Cuidado. No te me ahogues. So we'll just try to keep it as smooth as possible so that we can be able to get all the directors and everybody involved with this budget to be given an opportunity to speak. All right. It's I'm sure some of them have wish lists and stuff like that, and some of them have different ideas. Let's listen to them. That's why it's important to have a budget like this, a hearing with the employees. Okay, Pat, you can. It's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I'm trying to share my presentation. I sent it to you, John, and Jean, and Jose, if it doesn't come up. But I want to make sure it does. Can you see my screen?
Not yet, Pat.
It's not letting me share, John.
Okay, I'm trying to bring your presentation up on the other computer screen here, so.
Okay.
Did you send it to Robert?
No, I can right now. I forgot to CC him.
You are forgiven.
You are.
Robert,
Yes,
you want me to try to share it on mine?
if you can.
Jose, I'm going to present, and then I do my entire screen, or do I do a window?
You can do your entire screen, it just makes it easier.
Yeah, but then when I go to share, it's not letting me pick up my file.
It should be open already.
It is open.
Let's see here. I'm gonna try to present it.
Okay.
Just in case plan B is up.
Okay, and Jose, you're trying to bring it up on this other screen?
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it up on this other one.
That'd be nice, thank you. George, I'm going to try to bring it up on this screen also. Oh, okay. We're almost there.
Can you guys see it?
Yep. If you can just maximize it, we'll be good.
Can you make it full screen?
Yeah, let me do a slide show here. And if you could just tell me when to
I will.
do it.
Did you get slideshow at the bottom?
Jose, are you trying to make it bigger?
Yeah, it's already bigger for me. You guys can't see it?
It's not on the slide presentation side. On the bottom, it shows a little monitor on the bottom there. You hit that. If you're down the very right-hand corner at the bottom, there's like, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4th icon over. At the bottom.
I see it. Should be already.
No, it's not. It's in outline form.
Okay.
It's It's down at the bottom, the very far bottom. On the right, at the bottom of the screen.
The cemetery. We're asking for a pick. What they need is a small dump truck for the trash.
Is it just not working, Jose? Or are you-
A dump truck is.
Oh, yeah,
that one?
okay.
Did you see the truck over here with all the trash?
Did I
It's a
work?
little truck.
Nope.
Yeah, I
And
was
they
thinking,
pick up chiquita.
it's not,
It shouldn't be that much more. Pick up.
we still can't see it, but
Yeah, that's.
I can just present this way if you can't get full screen.
I might be able to do it, Pat. But I'm just gonna bring it a little.
Let me try to do my whole screen. I have PowerPoint. There you go.
That's it.
PowerPoint, is that it?
Yep, that's the full screen.
Okay.
Okay, can you go to the next slide?
No.
Okay. So this morning, what we're going
It's two
to
or
talk
three
about,
times
the
a week.
purpose of this presentation is to kind of give you an overview of the general fund. And we're going to be talking about the 2021 projected results and then the proposed budgets for the general fund for 2021-22 for the revenue side. And we're only going to be talking about the general fund today. And as you recall, the general fund has the most departments in the city. So I'll be going through the results. I'm getting a lot of feedback, background noise. Thank you. What we're going to be talking about is how much money are you going to be able to have for the budget? What have we included? What maybe we hadn't included? And so, and then we'll open it up for questions and next steps. Next slide, Jose. If you turn to your booklet that you got, if you turn to page 2 in your document, if I can get you there, we have the strategic plan that was set by the city years ago. And one of the most important things you do in a budget is to make sure that whatever you put in that budget aligns with the council's strategic plan and strategic goals. And what we tried to do with this year's budget is just do that, taking into consideration these goals. Safety, the highest priority is a safe community, which is provided with appropriate modernized public safety. 2, infrastructure. The city's infrastructure sound up to date and fully functioning. Are you getting background noise when I talk or echo?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I can hear it. Business opportunities to make it easy to do with the city of Nogales. Skilled workforce. As far as workforce engages in education, training, and professional development, clean environment, and then recreation. Those were the top goals and things that were taken into consideration. If you go to the next slide. Jose? The fund balance is what falls out after you take revenues and subtract out expenditures, and that's what comes into your fund balance. And you have had a carry forward for quite a few years. We completed the audit. In fact, that's going to be issued today. The final version. It's been in draft form. It's final version today, and that shows an unassigned fund balance as of fiscal year end 20 for the general fund of $15,447,188, which becomes the fiscal year 21 beginning fund balance. So the fund balance included $2,307,956 of Arizona CARES Act funds, and the projected revenues for 22 is $33,742.45, including $11 million of carry forward fund balance. We'll get into that and in more detail in the presentation. And the American relief budget is in grants, but general fund expenditures in the amount of $2,398,439. And I was trying to update the numbers on the slide, and I just had to join the meeting, so we'll talk through this at the end. It's been a hectic couple weeks, guys, so. Next slide. General fund. Okay, next slide. I kind of want to do a little briefing on what is included in the general fund and what the status is of the various major revenue sources in the general fund. So the general fund is used for municipal purpose, and it, as I mentioned, contains the most departments in the town. Next slide. One of the major revenue sources is local sales tax. And there are major revenue categories, retail, construction, utilities, restaurant and bar, hotel, motel. Those are some of the largest categories. Next slide. To give you an idea of the local sales tax collections for fiscal year 20, it was $8,640,625. For 21, it was budgeted at $8,025,000. We actually are going to take in $8,786,600 by year end. We've picked up some steam in the last few months, and we're estimating to come in higher. And then the estimate for fiscal year 22 is $8,874,466. This is excellent news considering we've been going through COVID-19. So we were low in budget because of COVID-19. So it's a pleasant surprise to have taken in more than what we thought. It's not as much as we, well, it is more than what we took taken in by 20, so we made up some ground in the last few months. Now this estimate goes all the way through June 30th, so I'm going to caveat it that it is an estimate until we finalize everything at the end of June. Next slide. So this is just a chart illustrating from a visual standpoint the amount of the local sales tax over the years. Next slide. We have public safety sales tax in addition to that, which is it's gone up a little bit from the estimate. It's down from where it was in fiscal year 21, but we're still looking at that. As I say, we have to true up things by the end of the year to make sure that the distribution of that has been done correctly. Next slide. Bed taxes, this is what you charge on top of your hotel motel tax. And that one is down from where we were in the 21 budget. The actual, you can see in 20 was a lot higher, but with COVID-19, it came down to about 305,000 in 21, and we're hoping to pick up a little bit more in 22. Next slide. Franchise taxes, those are the taxes that you collect for businesses, whether, and these are just examples of franchise APM, wherever your franchises are in your community, it's based on 2% of gross sales. Next slide. The franchise taxes have gone up. They've gone from $454,000 in 2020 to a projected $480,000 in 22. And again, this is based on their gross sales going up and the fact that you tax things that for them to use your right of way. It's based on their gross sales. Next slide. Then we have something called state shared revenues, and the major revenue categories within the state shared revenues is auto lieu tax, state sales tax, state income tax. Next slide. So this is to give you a picture of where the state shared sales tax has landed since fiscal year 20 through the projection of 22. And again, this would be sales tax, income tax, which is based on the gross taxes collected from 2 years ago, and auto lieu tax, which is what you collect on when renewal of license. They call it vehicle license tax or auto lieu tax. And the thing is that this is distributed based on how fast your population is growing compared to other populations in the state and distributed on that basis. Next slide. So for drilling down a little bit further, state shared sales tax, the actual was 2.1 in fiscal year 20. The budget was 2.3. We're going to estimate 2.3, but the proposed is 2.4. And again, we get these estimates from the league, who gets it from the Arizona Department of Revenue. Next slide. The state income tax was 2.6 in 20. We budgeted 2.9, we're gonna take in 2.9, but they've dropped it back down to 2.6 for an estimate for fiscal year 22. Next slide. Auto tax, the actuals are 2.8 million, the 21 budget, 2 million. The auto tax estimated at 2 million for 21, and they're keeping it about the same. It's a little bit here and there, rounded up, it's about 2 million it's been steady on. Next slide. Occupational tax that the city of Nogales charges, we collected $668,000 in fiscal year 20. The estimate for 21 is 728, and we're estimating 735 in fiscal year 22. Next slide. Building related fees, been 211,000 in fiscal year 20. We budgeted 268, the estimate's 214, and we're gonna budget 240, 200. This is very difficult to estimate because it depends on the construction activity within your city. So we've done pretty well, it's close to the estimates, but that could be higher or lower depending on what is built in the city of Nogales this next fiscal year. Next slide. Charges or services, one of the largest categories in charges and services is the ambulance revenues. And for fiscal year 20, you brought in 900,000. Estimate for 21 is 1,180,000, and then for 22, we're estimating 1.1 million. Next slide. We talked about this before. This is the American Relief Fund that's supposed to come into the city of Nogales. We're supposed to get it anytime now, and they will be distributing this into our account. And then 12 months later, we get it again in fiscal year 23. So in the American CARES Act, we received, or the Arizona CARES Act, we received $2 million for